Tem and Commissioners, good evening. Those of you from the public that have joined us in the chamber this evening, good evening. Thank you for being here. We're very excited about the presentations that we have tonight, and we'll be getting to those shortly after calling the meeting to order. And speaking of calling the meeting to order, we'll begin this evening in the normal fashion with a prayer, and then we will honor our flags. If you would, please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for the blessings that we each enjoy as members and citizens of this beloved community. God, thank you that you bless Clovis, you bless the people here, and Lord, thank you that you've sent rain, so much rain, and Lord, we're grateful and in awe of you as the creator and sustainer of your creation, and we give you the glory for that. God, thank you for the great things going on in our community that we get to celebrate this evening, and Lord, as we take up the business of the city, make us good stewards, wise, and pleasing to you. I pray all of these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Please join me in honoring our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico. It is the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. With that, our meeting is called to order. Ms. Reyes, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Jones? Here. Commissioner Bryant? Here. Commissioner Casals? Here. Commissioner Porter?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bryant?
Here.
Commissioner Garza?
Here.
Commissioner Rowley? Here. Commissioner Paula? Here. And Mayor Morris.
Here. Thank you, Ms. Reyes. Next, we have approval of the agenda. Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners, I'll assume your approval unless there are objections. Hearing and seeing none, we will adopt the agenda as it has been printed, and please record a yes vote for each of the members. Next, you have approval of minutes from the Thursday, May 18th meeting. Those minutes are in your packet. You've had the opportunity to review them. I'll assume your approval unless there are objections. And hearing and seeing none, we will adopt the minutes from May 18th. Please record a yes vote for each of the members. Next in our agenda, we have recognition of visitors. Again, thank you to all of you that are visiting this evening, either for a presentation or for just a general interest in what your city government is up to. And we will move along next to proclamations, awards, and presentations, where we do have 3 planned presentations this evening. And the first is the presentation of proclamation proclaiming June 1st through June 3rd as the 51st annual Pioneer Days celebration. And we've got some guests here this evening to perhaps make a few comments, but then receive the proclamation. And we've put them first because they have a rodeo to get to, you may have heard. So, Mr. Jeff Lynn, would you like to share some comments with us and perhaps introduce these lovely ladies?
Mayor and Commissioners, thank you guys for having us here tonight and the proclamation. We've got Jerry Fulgham on the end. He's our president of the Mounted Patrol. We also have all of our royalty for this year. They've been working hard all week, and they've still got a few more days to go. We change hats and put different shirts on, and off we go again. So maybe a little deodorant in between. But so we are here for the 51st Annual Pioneer Days Rodeo. It starts tonight, and we are looking forward to a very big crowd all week, and we appreciate you guys having us here tonight. We are still looking for some wild cow milkers, so after the commission meeting, we'll have time if any of you guys would like to partake in that. Mutton busting will happen tonight, of course, bull riding and all the other fun things that a rodeo has. We will have our parade on Saturday as well at 10 a.m. down on Main Street.
Well, thank you. We're certainly looking forward to the rodeo, and I know it'll be a big turnout this year. The venue that you have for the rodeo, SLO, is really great, isn't it? And I think people enjoy coming here, and I think people are ready to go to the Pioneer Days Rodeo. So I'm sure you will have great attendance. And then the parade on Saturday, it's got to be one of my favorite community events. So certainly looking forward to that. Could we meet each of these young ladies?
You can. I'll let them come up and introduce themselves.
All right.
Hello, my name is Tylee Garrison. I'm the Pioneer Days Rodeo Queen. I recently graduated from Texaco and have plans to go to Eastern in the fall to become a teacher. and I'm very excited for this week and our year ahead. We just got these titles about a month ago, so we're ready to get things rolling.
Well, thank you and congratulations on your title.
I'm Caitlin Young, and I am the Pioneer Days Rodeo Princess, and I'm a sophomore at Melrose High School. And it's been a busy week, but we're enjoying every bit of it.
Well, good. Welcome.
My name is Brady Hammock. I am the Pioneer Days Little Buckaroo Rodeo Queen. I am a freshman at Melrose High School.
Ms. Hammock, is your mom here?
No, she's not.
She's not here this evening. Tell her I said hi.
Okay.
I didn't know that you were as grown up as you are. Yeah, you're lovely and very well spoken. It's good to see you, ma'am.
I'm Lachelle DeFleur. I'm the Little Buckaroo Rodeo Princess. I'm going into junior high, 6th grade, and I've had a lot of fun this week, so it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, lovely young lady. Thank you. Well, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners, I'd like to share the proclamation with them. Perhaps before I do, if there are any comments that you would like to make, I'll give you that opportunity.
Congratulations, and thank you guys for coming.
Mr. Fulgham, would you like to say anything? I don't want to put you on the spot, but I don't want to cut you off either.
A couple short words. Yeah, it's like we mentioned today at the vendor kickoff out there. You know, if you a rodeo, if you want it to rain, have a rodeo. But we started a little early.
Good job this time.
We've been working hard on that arena. You know, just because it's indoor, it rains so much. But this is our 51st, and we're just glad to have it. Charlie Throckmorton, our announcer, you know, is back, and Binion Survey and stuff. And we got some new officers this year, and everything's going great, and we're looking forward to it. So.
Great.
Thank you for the proclamation again.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for the event and for all your hard work. Appreciate that. Any other comments?
Mayor, I just want to say real quick that, ladies, I think love to see young women that are very well spoken. Maybe you guys could teach me a few things. But I'm excited to see you. I actually have my rodeo ticket sitting right here, so if we can get this meeting done, I will see you ladies out there tonight.
Point.
No pressure.
Not
No
so
pressure,
subtle
Mayor.
point taken. So, so let's have a proclamation. Proclamation. Whereas Pioneer Days is the community's celebration of the grit and skill of those who settled the eastern plains of New Mexico. Clovis's first Pioneer Days celebration took place June 5th, 1935, to commemorate the, at that time, 31-year history of Clovis. Clovis is 116 now. And whereas the Curry County Mounted Patrol have been sponsoring the event since 1943. And this year, the Pioneer Days celebration will include the 51st annual PRCA Rodeo. Organizers expect over 10,000 people to attend the 3-day Professional Rodeo Cowboys event, scheduled for Thursday, June 1st, Friday, June 2nd, and Saturday, June 3rd, 2023 at 7:30 p.m. at the Curry County Event Center. And whereas this year's Pioneer Days Rodeo Breakfast will be held at 7 a.m. on Friday, June 2nd, 2023 at the Clovis Civic Center, the Pioneer Days Parade will be held at 10 a.m. Saturday, June 3rd on Main Street. And the theme this year is Wild Wild West. Now therefore I, Mike Morris, Mayor of Clovis, and on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby declare June 1st through June 3rd, 2023 as the 51st annual Pioneer Days celebration in the City of Clovis.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. Thank you.
impressive young ladies, certainly, and just a fantastic community event. So very excited for that to get going. Next, we have a wonderful presentation. I guess we would perhaps call it bittersweet. We have a presentation of Key to the City to Dr. Albert Kwan. And I've asked the president of the hospital board to be prepared to make a few comments. But before we ask Mr. Leslie to come up, or President Leslie to come up, Mayor Pro Tem, you sat on the board, have known Dr. Kwan for an awful long time.
Sure
I
have.
thought I'd yield to you for any comments that you may like to make.
Thank you, Mayor. And I have known Dr. Kwan for many, many years since he's come to Clovis. And Dr. Kwan's a very well-respected doctor in our city. And I personally want to thank him for his friendship, his commitment, his service, and dedication to our city, and wish him all the best. It's just a pleasure for us to be able to present him with the Key of the City.
Thank you for those comments, Mayor Pro Tem. President of the Hospital Board, Lonnie Leslie, would you?
Come on, Jackie, can you join me, please?
Good evening. We certainly appreciate you guys honoring Dr. Kwan in this way. I met Dr. Kwan 30 years ago. G.C. Ross and I were going to lunch, leaving the central office, and this very well-dressed man was coming in the door as we were walking out the door, and G.C. and I looked at each other and said, "Who's that?" Mm-hmm. And so we kind of went back and eavesdropped to see what Dr. Kwan was telling the receptionist. And he told the receptionist that he was thinking about moving here from Albuquerque and wanted to talk to somebody about the schools. So GC and I thought, we probably know as much about the schools as anybody. So we just turned around, got Dr. Kwan and talked to him for the next couple of hours about what we could do to educate his 6 children in Clovis Municipal Schools. And we did a pretty good job, didn't we, Dr. Kwan? They've excelled in so many things, whether it's being a physician or tattoo artist, musician, all sorts of things. And it's been fun to know Dr. Kwan for that length of time. Dr. Kwan's a true hero in so many ways. Before he came here, he was a flight surgeon with the United States Air Force. Wow. He also enriched the lives of thousands of us through his skills as a general surgeon. Dr. Kwan has also served the state of New Mexico in various capacities at the UNM School of Medicine. He's been the president of the New Mexico Medical Society, the New Mexico delegate to the American Medical Association, and the president of the American Society of General Surgeons. So Dr. Kwan's not only remarkable in Clovis, New Mexico, but he's remarkable around the United States. And one of the things that he hardly ever talks about was that he invented something that surgeons around the United States, I think, use when they do timeout before surgeries, and they meet to make sure that their everything is going to work good during the surgery. One of the things they do is mark the spot where they're going to operate, where they make sure that they're doing what they intend to do. But they didn't have a good way to mark for colonoscopies. And but Dr. Kwan, he figured out this wonderful solution to that. He draws a circle on the back of his patient with an arrow pointing down. And we understand it's used around the country now as the symbol for colonoscopy. Yeah, Dr. Kwan's probably going to get really tired one of these days at my terrible jokes at his expense, but he takes them really well. Jackie, we know that Dr. Kwan didn't accomplish all these things by himself. He had great support from you, and we know that he'll continue to have that support. Dr. Quan, we are going to seriously miss you at Plains Regional Medical Center, but we know that you're going to continue to do great things in our community and no telling what, around the world. It's been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful 30 years working with you and getting to know you better. Dr. Quan is not only my friend, but Dr. Quan's my doctor, and he's taken remarkably good care of me for a long time. So we appreciate you in so many ways. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to our honorable mayor and Mayor Pro Tem and all the commissioners. This is a high honor for me, being appreciated and recognized by the city of Clovis. A lot of people I need to thankful for, and the person who introduced me about Clovis is Dr. Brian Willman. We know each other, by next year will be 50 years, half a century friendship. And when we're in school, pharmacy school and medical school together later on, he always asked me, after you all done training, will you come to Clovis? How can you say no to a good friend? So after my commitment finished with the Air Force tour, I came down here in 1993, that's 30 years ago. And this is the best place to raise children. Wonderful school system. People are so friendly. The weather is wonderfully good. Sunny blue sky, that's why I go to Air Force Base. Since I separated from the Air Force, I still have high priority to provide very urgent, timely response to medical care from the base and the airmen. People ask, how good is Clovis? Simple answer is very simple. I was born and raised in Hong Kong. It took me half the way around the world to find Clovis. So, most of all, I thank all the citizens, all the people I work with, and all the commissioner and the mayor and Mayor Pro Tem. I need to thank all the surgical staff I worked with for years in the hospital. I need to thank my previous practice staff are still here. I thank all my good friends who I come to know in the Air Force. Also thankful for the current medical staff, people working still at PLMC, and also very thankful for all the board members in the hospital to support me for what I've done. To me, this is a great honor receiving the key of the city. If I look back, I don't think any doctors will have that. So this is a high honor, and thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for all the citizens in Clovis. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Doctor. For everyone's benefit, and certainly Dr. Quan, this is the message. It is with heartfelt thanks of a grateful community that we thank you for sharing your time and talent. And we truly do, previous mayors and myself truly do try to preserve giving the key to the city for very, very special folks that have made a big impact. And typically it's for someone that's leaving our community. I don't want you to leave our community, okay? But it is the highest honor. It's the greatest way that we could think of, but we're afraid that even this comes up short for your impact on our community, the number of lives that you've literally saved, but touched over the years, and the impact that you've had is, this doesn't do justice. However, it is the greatest gift that we can give you this evening, and we do it with all humility and gratefulness towards you. So thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
now that everyone's there together, I need to say something to Dr. Kwan. Dr. Kwan, this is what it sounds like when you see you operate. You're talking to me the author in this vision, but I know who you were. But I do still have those markings on the back that Mr. Leslie referred to. We are gonna miss you, sir. Thank you for the service, and God bless.
It's wonderful. Yeah, wonderful how many people came to support the doctor. Wonderful, just wonderful. Grateful for Dr. Kwan and his service. Next, we do have one last presentation this evening, and it is presentation of proclamation proclaiming June 14th, 2023 as Flag Day in the city of Clovis. And do we have with us this evening Miss Jessie Strauss Steele? Yes, Miss Strauss Steele, please come on up if you like. Thank you so much for joining us here this evening, and we're proud to offer the proclamation, and I'd love to give you the opportunity to make any comments you wish.
It's been a while since I've been here to do the Flag Day. I kind of stepped back for a while for DAR for illness and the death of my mother, and I got wrangled back into Flag Day again. I said, how did this happen? But I on such short notice, the thing I would like to tell you is that some of you might not know that there is a flag code. There is something that tells us exactly what we're supposed to do. And there is something in the flag code that has bothered me for years, and it started about 9/11. The flag code says the flag is not to be put on any kind of like a plate, a cup, a shirt, a pillow, you name it. We see these all the time now, but that's against the flag code. And I don't know if it bothers anybody else, but it bothers me. Because I just don't like to see the flag disrespected. I was in the military, so we had very high honor for our flag. And I just wanted to let people know, think about that. That's our flag. It represents our country. Do you want somebody sitting on it? You know, so that was just something I came up with and thought I would share with y'all tonight. And would like to thank you for letting me come back and kind of seen a few old faces that I know and Chris. Yeah. But I would like to thank you very much for the proclamation to the Daughters of the American Revolution. We're always here to help in any way with anything that has to do with our country and our patriots that fought in the American Revolution, because that's what we are. We have traced our lineage to someone that fought, contributed, or did something to get this country free. So if any of you ever need help with something like that in that area, we would be more than happy to help you. Just let us know, because we're out there ranting to help. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for the reminder about the code and for sharing the little bit about the Daughters of the American Revolution. And who else is with you here? Is this another daughter of
This is another daughter. This is Beverly Duncan. She's
welcome.
She's the secretary of our local chapter here.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for being here and giving us the opportunity to offer the proclamation and just remind the community how important it is that we cherish and honor our flag. Thank you for that. I'll share the proclamation. Proclamation. Whereas the Continental Congress adopted the Stars and Stripes as the official flag of our young republic on June 14th, 1777. The Congress wrote, "White signifies purity and innocence. Red, hardiness and valor. Blue signifies vigilance, perseverance, and justice." And whereas Flag Day was first celebrated throughout the country in 1877 to observe the centennial of the birth of our nation, our national symbol. And whereas after 3 decades of state and local celebrations, President Woodrow Wilson officially established Flag Day by proclamation in 1916. Flag Day became a national observance by act of Congress in 1949 and was signed into law by President Harry Truman. And whereas during the darkest hours of war, Americans looked to the purity, hardiness, valor, vigilance, perseverance, and justice represented by the flag as ideals worthy of the ultimate sacrifice in order to defeat tyranny. We salute the veterans of these wars, and whereas the flag that inspired Francis Scott Key to write our national anthem over 200 years ago still energizes the spirit, the American spirit. And whereas on Flag Day we remember the struggles and successes for which our flag stands, and we look to the flag as an everlasting symbol of our commitment to world peace, a nation of principle, and people of unity. And whereas today, in locations around the world, brave men and women are serving under that flag, fighting to preserve freedom. Now therefore I, Mike Morris, Mayor of Clovis, and on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby declare June 14th, 2023 as Flag Day in the City of Clovis. And I urge all citizens to display the flag of the United States and to respect it as a symbol of democracy and freedom, to honor America, and to celebrate our heritage. Next, we will move into receipts of petitions and communications. Is there anyone here this evening that has something that they wish to bring before the commission? Doesn't look like we do. Mayor Pro Tem or Commissioners, anything that you would like to share during communications? Very well, we'll move on then with the agenda and look at the consent agenda. As you know, the consent agenda is here so that we can, so that you can deal with many items, many routine items with one motion, and you have 9 total items on the consent agenda this evening. I'll read 2 through 8. The first, or item 2, rather, is request for approval of adoption of ordinance number 2187-2023 relating to the Unified Development Ordinance and amending section 1532-130B1M, section 1532-130B2, and section 1532-130B4C. Item 3 in the consent is request for approval of introduction of an ordinance pertaining to the Local Economic Development Act, amending sections 328.020, 328.120B, and 328.140C of the Economic Development Plan. Item 4, request for approval of changes to the LEDA for retail policies and procedures. Item 5, request for approval to apply for and accept if awarded the FY23 Emergency Management Performance Grant. Item 6, request for approval to purchase an ice machine for Colonial Park Golf Course. Item 7, request for approval to appoint Rachel Vernoy to serve as a student representative on the Clovis Carver Library Board. Item 8 is request for approval to apply for and accept, if awarded, the 2023 Outdoor Equity Grant in the amount of $20,000 for the 2024 City of Clovis Summer Youth Program. That is your consent agenda. Unless there are objections to one or more of the items, I would entertain a motion to place the indicated items on the consent agenda by unanimous vote.
So moved. Second.
Motion to place the items on the consent agenda came from Commissioner Jones. The second came from Commissioner Porter. Commissioners, please vote. Commissioner Garza, your vote, please.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Reyes, can I have a roll call for this vote, please? And we already have a yes from Commissioner Garza.
Commissioner Bryant?
Yes.
Commissioner Casals?
Yes, I can't find the button.
Commissioner Porter?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bryant?
Yes.
Commissioner Rowley?
Yes.
Commissioner Paula?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
The vote is unanimous and the motion is carried. The items have been placed on the consent agenda. I would now entertain a motion to approve or acknowledge all items on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Paula, second from Commissioner Jones. Could we have a roll call, please? Ms. Reyes.
Commissioner Casals?
Yes.
Commissioner Porter?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bryant?
Yes.
Commissioner Garza?
Yes,
Commissioner Rowley?
Yes.
Commissioner Paula?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Bryant?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Reyes. The vote was unanimous and the motion is carried. Thank you. We'll move on to introduction and adoption of resolutions and ordinances, where you have 2 items before you this evening. The first is a rather lengthy title, but I'll share it with you. It is item 1 under this section is request for approval of introduction of an ordinance amending and restating ordinance number 2183-2022 adopted on October 20th, 2022, authorizing and approving a drinking water state revolving loan fund agreement by and between the New Mexico Finance Authority, the Eastern New Mexico Water Utility Authority, joined by its member, the City of Clovis, in the principal amount of $15,150,000 plus interest rate and expenses thereon to finance the cost of construction of portions of the Eastern New Mexico rural water system, including but not limited to the engineering services, land acquisition, easement acquisition, electrical power to the facilities, construction of the raw water conveyance projects for sections 1 and 3 as further described in the loan agreement, and other details concerning the loan agreement, authorizing and approving the pledge of revenues of the 1/4 of 1% increment of the city's municipal gross receipts tax imposed by ordinance number 1138-80 as amended by ordinance 2173-2022. With that,
Okay.
sir,
Yes.
Mr. Howald, I'm coming to you first. Yeah. Yeah, thanks.
They're our bond counsel.
Yes.
And so he can, he'll go through the, what has changed since last time for you. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
And it's
Mayor.
Mr. Muirhead, is that right?
Muirhead, yes,
Muirhead.
thank you.
Thanks for being here. The floor is
Absolutely.
yours.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. Chris Muirhead with the Model Firm. This, as you know, has been a lengthy process to get $15,150,000 loan through the New Mexico Finance Authority from the state revolving loan fund for drinking water projects. In October of last year, you adopted a very substantially similar ordinance approving the city dedicating the 1/4% gross receipts tax pledge, which is referenced in here, which is dedicated toward water system improvements. For the benefit of the Eastern New Mexico Water Utility Authority, of which Clovis is the primary recipient, and you are all very familiar with that. What has happened subsequent to that is nothing negative in terms of the project. It is moving forward. These are slow-moving projects given the complexity, as you are familiar with the multiple stages that it has gone through already. The changes in this ordinance and why we're bringing it back is since October of 2022, two substantive things have changed. They did broaden in some respects and be more specific in how they define the project. In the October ordinance, it was very broad, talking about phases 1 and 3 of a raw water project. As you can see here now in this title or in the ordinance, it is very much lengthier and more specific to include engineering services, land acquisition, easement acquisition, electrical power to the facilities, construction of the raw water conveyance projects for sections 1 and 3 as further described in the loan agreement. So that last little bit is carry forward. The other change was in the October ordinance, it delegated authority to the mayor to accept the pricing terms. That is no longer needed because we are aware of what those are now. It is $15,150,000 payable over 30 years once the final distribution is made from the loan at a 0.25% interest rate. So extraordinarily beneficial to the city at that rate. So those are the two changes. This would put it on the agenda. We would provide notice and publications consistent with state statutes for this to be heard at your July 6th meeting. Assuming that you are in favor of moving forward with this, it will be the controlling ordinance. We'll wait 30 days. The Water Authority has to take also action, and then it will close the 1st of September. And then that project will be funded at that point. So happy to answer any questions, but those are the two changes that have happened. And again, these projects move at their own slow pace, and so what happens sometimes is the scope of the project changes, and that's what's happened here, just to be more specific and a little bit broader.
Yeah, well, thank you for that, Mr. Muirhead. And you were correct in your comments there at the beginning of what you had to say about our familiarity with this. However, there just has been some complexity to, getting this loan closed and everything in place with as many moving parts as there are. And so thanks, commissioners, for your staying with this and your patience as we complete this important step in supporting the Ute Pipeline project. So what questions do you have that you could send Mr. Muirhead's way? No questions? Okay. Wow.
Great.
Thank you for that explanation. That's
I
good.
was actually pretty certain all of these people were here for this, so I was disappointed when Dr. Kwan took them all away with him, so. In public finance, we're used to quite a crowd. I mean, so.
You typically draw a crowd, huh? Yeah, great. Well, if there weren't questions, is there debate or is there a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion that we approve the introduction of the ordinance.
Okay. Motion for approval of introduction from Commissioner George Jones, second from Mayor Pro Tem Bryant. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, it's been moved and seconded that you would approve introduction of this ordinance as has been described. Please vote. Ms. Reyes, let's, if we could, please have a roll call for this vote.
Commissioner Porter?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bryant?
Yes.
Commissioner Garza?
Yes, thank you.
Commissioner Rowley?
Yes.
Commissioner Paula?
Abstain.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Bryant?
Yes.
And Commissioner Casals?
Yes.
By a vote of 7 in favor and 1 abstention, the motion is carried. Thank you. And thanks again, Mr. Muirhead, for being here and for your efforts with this. Appreciate it. Item 2 under this section is request for approval of introduction of an ordinance amending the delayed repeal provisions of a municipal local option gross receipts tax. Mr. Howalt.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioners. As you all are aware, this project has become more complex, and with the complexity of it, and as financing has come on board, for example, the Water Utility Authority is also taking out a loan of $15 million on their side. They've also had Water Trust Board loans that they've taken out over the past several years. And with each of those takings, the city of Clovis has had to provide collateral in order to meet the requirements of the New Mexico Finance Authority. And so what we traditionally have done is pledged our net system revenues for our wastewater funds. And of course, that's all backed by our ratepayers who pay their sewer charges for our citizens. And so what the Finance Authority starts to look at as far as coverage is how much of is your debt service, and you have to have a certain coverage limit, so you have to generate X amount of money out of those rates to provide that coverage limits. Well, we're starting to decrease the required amount of coverage, and so the Finance Authority has asked us, hey, you guys may need to start considering a rate increase of your wastewater charges. Of course, we're not making those debt service payments, and so the increase isn't necessarily necessary for us to operate and maintain our wastewater system itself. And so not wanting to do that, I started looking at different options for us to be able to secure those loans for the Water Utility Authority. And we do have the dedicated gross receipts tax to water, which we pay for our membership contributions through, and thought, well, hey, that would be a good option because gross receipts tax is the most secure form of a pledge that you can make as a municipality towards a loan. However, our water GRT does have a sunset clause that is tied to it. Of course, we cannot pledge for debt service a gross receipts tax that would potentially expire prior to that debt service being paid off. And so in order for us to shift from our net system revenues and keep our wastewater charges where they currently are, we would need to repeal that sunset clause that is on our water gross receipts tax that's on there. That doesn't stop the future commissions from repealing that once the debt service is paid off on each one of those loans, but it would allow us to make that shift on there. So before you this evening, asking for your consideration to remove that sunset clause on that particular gross receipts tax. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
So we're talking about the 1/4% Fund 66, I think it is.
66, yes.
Yeah. The U Water 1/4%.
Yes.
Yeah.
For some reason, I had 65 in my head, but 66.
Yeah, I think it's 66. Okay. Okay. We didn't pledge. We're not pledging that to service the debt for the loan that we just talked about in the previous item.
Correct. That is a municipal gross receipts that goes towards our general fund.
Right.
Correct.
But the Water Trust Board loans that tell me what debt is connected to Fund 66, and I'm sorry to.
There's zero debt connected to Fund 66 currently.
Okay.
All of the debt, so through the Water Trust Board loans that the Water Utility Authority has taken out and we've had to back, plus this $15 million drinking water loan that they're taking out on their behalf, not the one that we are, is proposed to be backed by our net system revenues from the wastewater system.
Okay. Okay. Questions? All right. Any comments?
I'll make a motion that we approve the introduction of the ordinance.
Okay, we have a motion for approval of introduction of the ordinance amending the delayed repeal provisions of a municipal local option gross receipt tax from Commissioner George Jones. The second came from Commissioner Helen Casals. Any further discussion or debate? Hearing and seeing none, please vote. Actually, Ms. Reyes, please call the roll.
Mayor Pro Tem Bryant?
Yes.
Commissioner Garza?
Yes, thank you.
Commissioner Rowley?
Yes.
Commissioner Paula?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Bryant?
Yes.
Commissioner Casals?
Yes.
Commissioner Porter?
Yes.
That was a unanimous vote, and the motion is carried. Thank you. We are on to reports of boards, officers, and committees. Special Civil Aviation Board meeting took place on Tuesday of this week. At that meeting, there was one one item on for discussion and action, and it was discussion and action regarding the Wings and Wheels sponsorship packet. Commissioners, Mayor Pro Tem, you're familiar with Wings and Wheels. This is an event that's taken place over the last couple of years and is gaining considerable momentum. And the city did a great job, I think, in identifying the opportunity to have a sponsorship package, then created that and called the Civil Aviation Board together to consider that, and Civil Aviation did approve that and are sending it to you at a future meeting. Very excited about. We won't need action on that?
No, sir. We're just going to move forward.
Okay. We're just going to move forward. They don't need your action. They don't need your approval. The Wings and Wheels sponsorship packet is really slick, and that event is going to be fantastic. It'll be on September 23rd in the fall, and so very much looking forward to that. And that was all we did at that meeting. Let's see. Do we have a report on Public Works Committee that took place today? Yeah. Okay. How'd that go?
Smooth. A very lengthy meeting.
Okay.
But we did meet this morning. We discussed residential paving projects, which we brought to the commission for approval at probably the first meeting in July. We also discussed drainage at Ned Hout Park and decided to make necessary changes if needed while continuing to partner with the county. And I have to say, with Mr. Holt being an engineer, his experience was extremely helpful. Very good presentation. During the updates, and this is good news, during the updates, we discussed the FEMA floodplain maps, and those new maps will go into effect July 13th.
And the floodplains are shrinking?
Yes.
Yep, great.
Quite a bit.
Due to the drainage improvements?
Mm-hmm.
Due to drainage improvements, better modeling techniques that we have in able topography, et cetera, that we can model with. So lots of factors that weighed in on decreasing the floodplain.
Great. That is good news for the community, certainly. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, great. I'll report very briefly, and I promise to be very brief. The Water Authority did meet last week on May 23rd, had quite a packed agenda. The notable items, of course, would be, it's budget season everywhere, and so the board approved the interim budget. It's the largest budget the Water Authority has ever adopted. We approved some service contracts with consultants and auditors and CPA firms and so forth. We also had 4 easement agreements, which, we always love seeing those easement agreements because that's just a real tangible sign of progress. We got reports from our federal and state consultants as well as a project development update. Encourage you to, if you wish, I know we need to avoid quorums, but if you wish, drop in on Water Authority board meetings at any time. Tracking any one of those meetings is an opportunity to get an up-to-the-minute update on real-time activity for this project that is going in all different directions and just so many things going on. I will wrap up by talking about what has happened at the watershed and the reservoir in the last week. As you know, we've had rain all over the area, and the Ute Reservoir has benefited from that as rains have fallen in the watershed. As of 1:30 this afternoon, the reservoir was holding 175,000 acre-feet of storage. That is a 54,400 acre-feet increase since last Wednesday afternoon. In a matter of days, the reservoir added an amount of water equal to 3 years and 4 months of the maximum allocation that the Water Authority will pull off. I'll say it this way. If we were connected right now, and I wish we were, we would be resting groundwater wells in our community and taking 16,000 acre-feet off of that reservoir, and nobody would miss it by the way, because of how much water has flowed into that reservoir. And so what's occurred in the last week is a real life, very current demonstration of how that watershed and that reservoir can and will perform and can and will provide for its primary purpose of providing supplemental renewable surface water to our area, to our communities, and it will also provide for its secondary purpose, and that is the recreation that folks enjoy there. And so with that, any questions that you may have for me? All right. I'm operating from my iPad this evening, so sorry about that. No other reports, future agenda items.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners. We have a few items for the next agenda. Eastern New Mexico Water Utility Authority representatives, the appointment of 2 of those. The Central Curry contract for services year 3 of 3. Capital Consultants contract, the Main Street contract, the EPCOG annual resolution, Dickey's barbecue liquor license, and the strategic plan update. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ms. Burrows. Announcement of date, time, and place of upcoming board and commission meetings. The Economic Incentive Board will meet at 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday, June 14th, here in the North Annex. The Planning and Zoning Commission will meet at 3 p.m. on Wednesday, June the 14th, here in this room. And the next City Commission meeting will be at 5:15 p.m. on June 15th. Thank you. We're adjourned. Oh.
Did we not have a meeting for the Civic Center Policy Committee on Tuesday?
May have missed an upcoming meeting for the Civic Center.
Or was that?
We'll go back and verify.
Anything else for the good of the order? We're adjourned. Yeah, go to the Wild Cow Milking.
Well, it went a little shorter than that.
Mayor date?
The doorbell date. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to Santa Fe.
That's what I understand. Right now, huh?
Yeah. I'm going to make the pitch for the annual league conference.
Be careful.
Okay.
Be sure what we ran into real fast.
You too. I gotta go home and I gotta
Santa
go build.
Fe.